So guys, welcome once again to another episode of Scott Talks Law. So in this episode, we'll be talking about environment law, and we're going to talk about important information concerning environment law, that if you are an environment law student, this is the information that will help you tackling environment law exams. If you are an environment activist, this is the information that you need to know to have. If you are an environment lawyer, this information will be helpful to you. Or if you are just that person who wants to know, or you are concerned about your environment, or you want to take part in the protection of environment, on your environment, when you're advocating for the protection of your environment, this is the information that will help you in that. So we're going to look at some of the most common environment law questions that will guide us in tackling this unit, because these are common questions in an environment law examination. So we'll start off by looking at the regulation of the movement of transboundary and hazardous substances. And there are some various legal provisions that provide for that provides for the regulation of the movement of transboundary, toxic and hazardous substances. So it's not permitted to just deposit waste to other countries, transport and deposit hazardous toxic waste to other countries without treating those waste, because these are wastes that are harmful, are toxic to the environment, they're dangerous to the environment, to human beings and to animals. And it's not just doesn't adhere to the neighbor principle, the Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol provides for the principles of environmental law. One of the principles is the principle that ensures the principle of the neighbor principle, and states are obligated to conduct themselves in a manner that is responsible to other states. So in whichever activities that this state engaged in, they should take into consideration the neighbor principle. So we've got some various legal provisions like the 1989 Basel Convention on the Regulation of Movement of Transboundary Hazardous and Toxic Substances. Is an important convention of which members to this Basel Convention are supposed to adhere to the provisions of the Basel Convention. We've got the 1991 Bamako Convention. We've got other conventions on the prevention of hazardous and toxic substances. We've got other countries like the MAPOL Convention. They just provide for regulation on the movement of hazardous and toxic substances. So we've got a case law of Trafigura. Trafigura case is a case of Probo Koala, and Probo Koala this is the case that involved the transportation and deposit of hazardous and toxic substances to a country, to Ivory Coast from Amsterdam, or so they were shipped from Amsterdam to Abidjan in Ivory Coast. So it was like it cannot be permitted. Maybe if you treat this waste, then maybe if you had notified the other state that you're gonna do that, then it can be. But if you haven't notified the other state, then you're just transporting this waste and just deposit to the other state. It's not permitted. Does not adhere to the principle of environment law, and it's not just a good practice. So controlling of this transboundary movement of hazardous substances, the Basel Convention is one of the Basel Convention on the control of transboundary movement of hazardous substances is the most comprehensive global environmental agreement on hazardous waste and other wastes. So amongst other matters, the convention regulates transboundary movement and parties to the convention have the overall obligation to ensure that such movements are minimized and other movement is considered in a manner that will protect human health and environment. So if at all you want to move this way, then it should be moved in a manner that will protect human health and environment. If you treat them, it's okay. If you move, if they are not harmful, then you can move them. So another legal provision is the International Convention for the Protection of Pollution from Ships, 1973, and MAPOL Convention, among others. There are many legal provisions that you need to go and look at them. Look at this provision and what they provide for, how they regulate this movement of hazardous and toxic substances, and just go and look at these legal provisions, and you'll be okay to sit for your examination. So, got conditions for transboundary movements. First of all, the parties which you intend to move, that those are the parties where deposits are to be occurred, or to be where these deposits are to be, these waste are to be deposited, must be notified before the deposit. So, and these deposits must not, transboundary movement and other substances must not occur to non-parties or those that they say they're not party to the Basel Convention, and a party must not allow exposure to a state when it has reason to believe that the waste in question will not be managed in an environmentally sound manner. So if a state is not well convinced that this waste will be managed in an environmentally sound manner, then the party that intends to transport this waste should not transport the waste. So we're going also to look at the emission and reduction. So go talk about the emissions of biofuel. So this is a question, and you are asked to write a memo about whether prohibition on the importation of biofuel production in a way that is dangerous or damages rainforests and biodiversity is lawful on the basis of the exemption under the GATT agreement. So you know this GATT agreement, general agreements on tariffs and trade, the GATT. So this agreement provides for trade among states, but we've got an exemption to that GATT that this convention, the main aim of this convention is just provide for trade, but the government has prohibited harmful substances, especially biofuel, because these are threat to biodiversity and they are harmful to the rainforest. So you are asked to write a memo whether the prohibition is lawful. So you know biofuel are harmful to the environment, and they are so this is how you're going to start it off. So biofuel production can lead to land conversions, habitat fragmentation, ecosystem degradation, and we've got international environmental commitments, and these are the Convention on Biological Diversity, the CBD, the Paris Agreement, which encourages sustainable land use and conservation efforts. So a government may justify such prohibition under its sovereign rights to regulate environmental protection. So so the exemption allows trade restrictions that are necessary to protect human, animal, and plant life, or that relate to the conservation of exhaustible natural resources. So if this so the GATT provides this general agreements of tariffs and trade. It allows trade among countries, and environmental trade like carbon trading and other trading activities. So there's an exemption that is provided under the GATT, and if at all these wastes are going to be harmful to the environment, then they'll be exempted. If that particular trade is going to be harmful to the environment, maybe by fuel trading, then it will not be allowed. It's an exemption that is provided under the GATT. So the key consideration is necessity and proportionality, and discrimination and scientific basis under the GATT. So how is sustainable development restricted in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity? This thing is hard, man.